Welcome, Hanny. Welcome, Tom. How are you guys this evening? Why am I not hearing you guys? I don't have anybody muted. Oh, Hanny's muted. Welcome, Shirley.
Good evening, Pamela.
Hey, Miss Shirley, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Just want to make sure you sent us your email, correct, and your telephone number?
I sure did.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that I'm getting everybody. I know, Hanny, we have yours. Hello, Miss Colleen. How are you, sweet girl? You're rocking and rolling today at the bank, huh?
Yes. Hello.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Wait till you start depositing. You know, that's the one thing that's good about doing checks instead of direct deposit is when you go to the bank every month and they see you putting in nice big checks and they say, "What is it that you do?" I've heard that before
Yes.
from different people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a fun thing. Well, good. So did she do the health evaluation form for you yet?
I haven't checked my email since I got home. I took Emily and Keith for daughter daddy dinner.
Oh,
So
how special.
they had a daddy. We just got back.
Good. Good. Did she get all dressed up?
No, and he did. I was really surprised. I'm like, wow, you got more dressed up for her. Who is she? And she was already dressed up, but you know, it was cute.
Oh, good.
And they do this like every other month or something. So
well, that's very sweet. I love that. Okay, we'll give it
it
another.
is neat.
We'll give another minute or so people can get in here. I posted it again on the page. And did you send your request to Marianne, Colleen? What we had talked.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Well, I instant messaged her, so.
Perfect. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. All right. Because I made a note in the list. I just wanted to make sure that you had reached out to her too. Great.
Has everybody seen what Michelle posted on that event in March?
She was talking about it on the 1 Star and Above call today. Sounds outrageous. It's only going to be 75 ladies. And that sounds really, really incredible. The Princess Cruise. And is that what you're talking about? Yep. And, you know, real one-on-one time with her and Denise. And who else did you say? Probably Juliet Fardulis. And who else? There was another lady, I think. Hey, Melissa. But it sounds like a really incredible event. And so if it's something that you're interested in, and it didn't sound expensive at all. It sounded very reasonable. It's just for us here on the East Coast, you got to get yourself over there. But to be on a cruise and to have all that terrific training, that is really, really awesome. So, okay, guys. All right. I'm going to mute us all out, and we've got ourselves recorded. Okay. And then, of course, you can unmute yourself, and I do encourage that so that we can share together. Today, we are starting Chapter 9, which is skill number 6, helping your new distributor get started right in Eric Worre's GoPro. Just to remind everyone that we will not have our book club next Thursday, as we will actually be at GoPro Live in Las Vegas. So I'm sure that there'll be stuff that we can share, and I'm very, very excited about that. But we will reconvene again in 2 weeks. Oh, wait, 2 weeks is Thanksgiving. It's going to have to be 3 weeks. Yep, so 3 weeks. So we're going to miss it for the next couple of weeks. So, okay, so let's get moving. So skill number 6, helping your new distributor get started right. And what we need to remember is that in network marketing, people invest enormous effort, time, and money into getting people signed up, and then they squander that investment by leaving their new distributor to figure everything out for themselves. There's a little term for that. I don't know if anyone has ever heard it. Does anyone know what the term I'm talking about? I didn't get to say hello to. Hello, Miss Nancy. Do you know what that silly little term is, a rhyming term? Recruit and scoot. Have y'all heard that before? Yeah. Okay, so it's silly. It's a silly little name, but it is a very serious offense. It's about people who are very, very into getting people enrolled, getting those the income that you can get, of course, from a CEO pack, for example, and then just abandoning people. Remember that network marketing is relationship marketing. So we want to try our best to not leave people in a lurch. It's very important. They've made a commitment to us, and so we need to make a commitment to them and create that strength in the relationship to foster more love and support, because, you know, when they get started, they're excited, but then if they feel abandoned, they might abandon ship completely. You know, it's a scary thing, because sometimes people will have what's called buyer's remorse, right? And so they'll get to a point of, oh, I'm so excited. And then within a short period of time, they may not, feel that confidence level anymore, because they're not getting that loving attention from you. So that's very, very important. It's important to do all the follow-up. And Alex Tice did a great presentation with us on Zoom today that was wonderful. He is so fabulous talking about retention. And so that's really a part of what this is making sure we maintain that relationship to retain the person staying as a part, whether they're going to be a product user, but in this particular instance, we're talking about distributors. So holding their hand and helping them to do what they need to do, showing them the right activities, bringing them to a Zoom like this, or the Zoom on Tuesdays with Tom, or the Hair on Fire call every morning. That 20 or 25 minutes is enough to get you fired up, to get started for the day, to create that loving environment. And I am so grateful that Tom puts that together, that Lanny puts that together, that they dedicate that time. And remember, that's very, very early. For those of you that are on the West Coast, you guys are getting up bright and early. I mean, I don't know necessarily that I could do it. I still would have to be in the PJs and all that. But that's the beauty of this business. We can do that. And I just really, really am grateful for that time in the morning, because some days you wake up and you don't feel like getting started, right? Has anybody else had that like me? And you need that. Yeah, Nancy, you need that little lift. So, okay, so what we do want to understand is that professionals set proper expectations. They help get some quick results and then continue to guide the new distributor through the many phases of our profession, right? And so then he goes on and he talks about, through this whole chapter, about a mentor, Michael Nelson, that he was learning from and following suit to see what he did. And he said he watched him, and every time he signed up a new distributor, he scheduled a game plan interview. I love that idea, right? He went through the same exact interview every time. So it's kind of like the idea of the coffee shop interview. And we can modify that as we go through dealing with the distributors and finding out what their expectations are, what their goals are, what they're willing to commit and do. And we should keep that as a standard so that when we're talking with them, we are talking on the same level. We're talking about the same exact things. They cannot be confused if we show them that path and if we teach them to do the same for their people, right? Because the whole point is we don't want to be the only ones signing up the distributors. We want our new distributors to be successful signing on people on their team and helping them to get the checks, to reach the ranks, to become a brick, right? A senior associate, to become a one-star executive, to get the car bonus, all those things that they need to do in order to feel comfortable and confident in the work that they're doing. So now we're going to talk about the game plan interview part 1. Michael validated their decision to become a distributor. And really, seriously, you need to make people feel good about doing this. They made a commitment to you, and you need to make them feel loved and special. So congratulations making the decision. I am so proud of you for taking charge of your life. From now on, things are going to be different for you and your family. So how does that make you feel when you hear things like that? I want you guys to jump in and participate. When you hear someone say, congratulations, you made the right choice. If someone hears that from you, how are they going to feel?
Hey, Pamela?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd have to say a positive reflection for oneself, because when someone like me has heard negativity all my life, it's so awesome to hear, that encouragement anyone. So it's a big validation to say, hey, you're doing the right thing. So
Perfect.
it's always
Thank
a good
you.
thing to hear.
Thank you.
It's always good to encourage everybody.
Absolutely. It's important to be loved, but it's also important to understand people's love language, because different people will be different. And what's really great is Dr. Corey Gold, I remember in some of his trainings, would talk about asking the questions of what is it that you want me to do? If I see certain things happening or not happening, how do you want me to treat you? Do you want me to call you up and say, yo, what's happening? What's going on? Or you want me to call up and say, how's it going? What can I do to help? What do you need? It depends. You need to ask these people, get to know them on a personal level so that you can understand what it is that they need. Some people, like Colleen was talking about, some people may have that little guy on the shoulder who is recording from somebody from the past that's repeating things that created negativity in your life. That person may really need someone who's going to be extra loving and kind and thoughtful and remind them about how special and wonderful they are, right? Some other people may not want you to be all up in their business. They may want you to give them the space because they may have the ability, but if you say to them, here's what works, and this is what leadership here does, and give them the direction. And sometimes they want to be left to their own to be able to follow through, but you have to kind of watch it. So again, it's about understanding the person that you're dealing with. Okay. So anybody loves being told, thank you, congratulations, we're glad to have you here. And it only takes 5 minutes. You could be real quick. Make it brief. What can happen is any doubt they may have had about becoming a distributor is now gone, and they feel great. They feel good about themselves, that they made the right choice. You are reinforcing the positivity of the relationship. So game plan interview part 2, he sets their expectations. So there are a lot of people we know that come in with unrealistic expectations. So we need to set the stage for them. And what he says is, if you succeed in this business, it's going to be you who creates the success, not me. And if you fail in this business, it's going to be you who creates the failure, not me. You are going to be the difference between success or failure. I'm here to guide you every step of the way, but I cannot do it for you. I'm here to work with you, but not for you. That's extraordinarily powerful and really sets boundaries, right? And this is a very radical concept compared to many conversations that you may have heard or may have even said, where you would say, well, I get paid for what you produce, so essentially I work for you, right? that is going to set the stage for that distributor to think, oh my goodness, that means that I'm going to have to do the same for my people. I have to do all the work for them. And then, but if you say, we are going to build a business together, when that wasn't true, they needed to build the business. So what you need to understand is you could be a resource, but you cannot do it for them. The next thing that Michael said is, my job is to help you become independent from me as quickly as possible. And then he asks them, do you agree that's a good goal? That's really powerful as well. Think about it. We want you to be successful and independent so that you don't need me. So for example, let's say someone is looking for something in the resource center that is always available there, right? And they're saying to you, oh, I need this, or what are the ingredients in this, or what's the supplement facts, or how many are they supposed to take, right? And so one of my upline leaderships, Deb Bruction, always taught us to point people in the right direction. So you can say, oh, you know what, that's a really great question. The best way to find out is to go to the resource center, or you can go in the back office and do a search, and you can pull up the information there for that particular product, or you can go and look at the compensation plan. I think it's just really wonderful. And she always did it in a loving, kind way that didn't make it feel like, I can't be bothered with that, you look it up. It was more, I want to make sure that you know where you can find this information, because there may be a time where I'm not available to do that, you know, to do that for you. It was always in a kind way. So if we treat people that way, then in their mind they say, oh, I remember that. Pamela told me I need to go to the resource center, youngevityRC.com, and do the little search and find the things in there, or go to my back office and search what has selenium in it, right? And you do the little search and they'll pull up all the products that have selenium. You know, so there are ways to do this so that people can become more independent as quickly as possible. So what Eric Worre says is that he had a group that was extremely dependent on him. They only did something when he pushed, but Michael had a group that produced on their own without his constant help. And that's what we want. We want this to be, remember, this is a residual income business. We want this to kind of be able to grow, be duplicatable, and progress over time. But we cannot possibly do it all. There's no way. There's going to come a time where your business is going to be so large, praise God for that. Your business is going to be so big that you can't possibly manage every single aspect of it. But if you train your leaders to do the right things, then it all will fall into place. Okay. So in this instance, he talks about Michael would be the teacher for his group and not the slave. He could show them the skills, and then they could independently build from that point forward. Also in this, what Tom always talks about, it's not about us being a Tom, or us being Michelle Wallach, or us being a Denise, or us being anybody else. It's a matter of being the best you. And so if you have the right resources and the right tools and the ability to know where to find them, you can put your own personal bend on how this happens. Because remember that when people join this business, they're joining because they have a relationship with you. So then Michael went on to say, there will certainly be ups and downs as you build your business. There will be good times and bad times. I'll know you're in one of the bad times when you aren't calling me, you aren't showing up for meetings, you aren't on the calls, or if I start hearing excuses, that sort of thing. When that happens with you, and it happens with everyone, how do you want me to handle that? Do you want me to leave you alone, or do you want me to be persistent and remind you why you made this decision in the first place? That goes back to that Dr. Corey concept of, how do you want me to treat this? Do you want me to be your friend? Do you want me to be your teacher, mentor? Do you want me to kind of, you know, remind you in a little bit of a gruff way? How will you respond best? What is it that you need? And if you want to be left alone, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. Just tell me that. And then I can move on and work with the people who are ready to work. And I'll be here when you're ready to start back up. It's okay. There are times that will happen. And there are some people who may think they want to do the business, but kind of just want to be product users. And we never want to, as Tom always says, we don't want to push the pig through the python. We want people to be ready to do it in their time and let them be in charge of themselves. But we still go forward and do what we need to do to grow our business, right? So Eric goes on to explain, it's true that everyone will have times of self-doubt. How many of us who've done 65 and a wake up have had a day where I go, I'm not going to make it. I can't do it. I can't do it today. It's not going to happen, right? It is not going to happen. And then you realize that you pick yourself up by the bootstraps and you move along because there's accountability, right? That's why this stuff works. That's why it works, because we have people that are counting on us, and we have people who are encouraging us and pushing us to do the things when we feel like it's tough. And we have people to love on us during the time that things are tough. So this atmosphere, 65 and a wake up, it all is going to help us in a larger scale to do better all across boards in the company, no matter who you're upline, downline, crossline with, right? So Michael let them know that it was natural, and at the same time set up the relationship so he was in a position to turn them around when it happened. Not if it happened, when it happened, because we all have it happen, right? So now we go into game plan interview part 3. So Michael went through a getting started checklist, and he wants them to do everything possible to get quick results, right? We are creatures of habit, but we also have very short attention spans, right? We're doing something new, but it's very easy to get caught up in the habits of daily life. And when we try to add something new, sometimes it's just easier to go with the status quo, even though we've got this idea of something that's going to propel us into greatness, but we just don't know how to do it, right? So if we have small, achievable goals, we see that positivity happening, and that's an encouragement for us to continue. That's, again, why 65 and a wake up works, because we can do those 2 coffee shop interviews and 1 3-way a day. And if you do that every single day, and it's just like any other 12-step program, if you can get through just today, then tomorrow is another day, and you can get just through that day, and on and on and on, right? So some examples of what you could include in your getting started checklist. Make sure that they are set up with the appropriate products. Okay, so whether that's a CEO pack, whether that's getting them set up with their Healthy Body Start pack, whether it's helping them understand about the health evaluations, those kinds of things, right? So the products, and that he says may include a monthly commitment. Well, if they're going to be successful in the business, remember that there is a certain level of what you need to be committed to as far as product use is concerned. The great thing about longevity is we have so many different verticals, different types of products that we can use. And we have to remember that the great thing is that we have things that need to be renewed, things that we're going to consume. So they're called consumables, things we use on a monthly basis, and things we need to have every single month. Therefore, that's going to keep the business flowing, because if people want to continue to feel as good as they feel now, they're going to need to continue. So that's why auto ship is important. It's important to help them to understand what level of auto ship to be on, how many QV they need to have for the auto ship in order for them to qualify for bonuses, to know how many dollars it is for someone to qualify for free auto ship shipping, things like that. Those are very important things for people to understand as a new distributor. Okay, so it is very important for people to develop an emotional attachment to the products, and that can only happen if they're using them and enjoying the benefits. And in this process, remember, they're creating a testimony, right? Products that can be sampled or used as demonstrations, new distributors should have an appropriate supply. Now, I use a little asterisk on this. I never want to promote to people to over order on product because I don't want people to have storehouses. I've seen it in past businesses where people will literally rent storage space and have product in the space. People that really can't afford it, it's just ridiculous. But it is important for you to carry little samples. So what I do is I'll carry Pollen Burst or Rebound, Z-Radical stick packs, Root Beer Belly, Kid Sprinkles. Like I'll have like a little baggie in my purse, and I always keep catalogs in my bag or in my car. And so I have them available if I needed them, if someone were to ask me. Let's see. Nancy, you could answer later. Are your CSI all out in the public, or do you make phone calls, etc., to what counts product of the product? Oh, yes, you do need to be a product of the product. And CSIs it depends. They can happen anywhere. They can happen just by somebody that you are meeting out in the world. It can be an appointment that you schedule with somebody. Is that what you mean, Nancy? Go ahead. I've unmuted you.
Well, I was just, okay. I was just thinking, I mean, that's why I said you could answer it later, because I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought. It was something that I had thought of.
Go ahead.
For the CSIs, are they, I mean, is it something that only counts when you're out wherever, or do you, I mean, like you're make phone calls off your list of 100 or whatever, kind of thing? I mean, what all counts or whatever? How do you, what do you count for your CSI? I guess it's, I'm just, where do we look? How do we, I understand when you're out in the public and, but if I'm not out in the public, because I don't get out of the house every day.
That list of 100 counts as your CSIs. And where are you in the 65 and a wake up? Are you, what day are you on?
I have not committed yet.
But you're in.
But I'm getting.
You're in the room with us. You're in the club.
I'm in the room with you.
So you're on the side of the
I'm just
pool.
kind of watching, commenting.
Okay.
Because I know that I don't get out of the house every day. And so I'm afraid I don't want to start and not finish. And so I'm looking at the big picture to make sure that I can finish.
Okay, great question. I'm going to mute you back again, so hang on. Okay, fabulous question. And the coffee shop interview can be done anywhere, anytime, with anybody. Yes, Nancy, those people on your list, and you need to start documenting your relationship contacts with them for the coffee shop interview, and you need to get deeper and deeper in that relationship with them, listening, again, 2 ears, 1 mouth. So you're listening to what they're saying, and you finally get to a point. It's really fascinating, and I don't remember exactly where it happened. I do think it was somewhere around that day 30, so it was kind of in the middle, where all of a sudden people started asking me for stuff, whereas I used to feel like I would constantly be chasing people to talk with them. And then it started to shift. And that shift continues because my demeanor has changed, right? My way of carrying myself while communicating with others changed, because they don't feel like they have to have their guard up, that I am trying to get something from them. So they know that I'm just a listening ear, a sounding board, that they may have some knowledge of what I do. And so that might be in the back of their mind as we're going through a conversation, and allowing that conversation to just flow forward until it finally comes to a point where they'll say, hey, Pamela, I think one time I heard you say, or I saw you post, or you mentioned, do you think that might help me? And, it becomes that kind of a thing. So, yes, absolutely. Pull out that list of 100, dust it off, start calling them and just seeing how they are. Do not start doing it like you are prospecting as a salesperson. Just prospect as a friend and start out building that relationship with them. So does that help you, Nancy?
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey. Okay. All right. So, excuse me. All right. So now, again, I don't want you to overload yourself, but I do think it's a good idea to have sample products with you just in case. And, sometimes that could be a matter of you're out somewhere and someone is just saying, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. How can you possibly have the energy that you have? There are things like that will come up and you can say, hey, as a matter of fact, I have this great stuff called Rebound, or I have this pollen burst. Would you like to try it? And say, here, give me your bottle of water and we'll just pop it in there. And they'll say, oh my gosh, my headache is gone. I have energy. I feel really good. Any number of things like that. But you want to make sure to keep that on a casual thing. I don't want you to be the one constantly whipping the stuff out of your pocket, because that kind of changes the scenario from being a listener to being a product pusher. So I don't want you to be a product pusher. Okay. So number 2, we want to make sure that they are set up with the appropriate tools. Your new distributor needs to be prepared to help their prospects with the tools that will professionally take them through the exposure process. And those could be those third-party tools, like it could be the health evaluation form. It could be the people that you talk with about those 3-way calls, helping them to understand where to find the resource center, all those kinds of things. The third item is make sure that they get connected to, again, company websites where the upcoming events are being held, when the leadership calls or webinars are being conducted, etc. And remember, our goal is to help them become independent as quickly as possible. So you want to also, 4, make sure they have a basic understanding of the compensation plan. And honestly, what I truly believe, and I've seen it for myself, the best way to understand the compensation plan is when you start to get that money, because you begin to say, oh, I get it. Okay, so this is how that quick start bonus happens. This is how that first start bonus occurs. This is what this means. Okay, so that means the percentages are here based on this BV, and helping people to kind of understand that. So I really think it's important for them to get a nice printout copy of the compensation plan, have it handy. I know I always have several of them so that I can quickly access it and pull it when someone has a question or a concern that comes up as we're going through the month and working on qualifications and so forth. Let's see. You want them to understand the key points and what will happen financially as they move through the first levels. And Tom has taught us that we want to try to help everyone to become a brick, right? That senior associate rank, so that they can achieve the levels they need as quickly as possible. Because if they try to go right for that 1 star, that's a really big nut for them to have to take a bite of. And so if we can get them to that senior associate and teach them how to do that for everyone else on their team, that's going to create a better atmosphere for them to find that level of success. Oh, Pat and Ivan together. Hey guys, how are you? So, okay, 5. Now, we want to make sure that your distributor has a fundamental understanding of how to properly invite their prospects to understand more about what we have to offer. And that's by, you can save them for running out there and talking their heads off, right? By giving them a brief overview of how and why a professional invitation process works. And then game plan interview part 4. Hey, guys. It was a race to help a person get results quickly. Remember, we all have a short attention span. We want to see something happen. We want to see a benefit to our results. If they received early positive reinforcement, they will continue. And if they don't, they have a tendency to kind of fade away, right? And we don't want to see people wilt and shrivel on the vine. We want them to have that level of success so they can plump and be bigger and go on and get more. This all goes along with the virtual event this weekend. Yes, exactly, right? I'm so excited. Yeah, oh my gosh, you have to be able to get into that virtual training that's happening this weekend. I have always loved it. Every single time we have it, I'm always excited. And I haven't watched it yet. I was with patients all day today, but tomorrow that's on my list. So I'm going to be able to watch that and then share it this weekend. Okay, so all right, so now we want to think about the simple actions you could encourage people to take during their first week. Okay, how can they get their first customer, their first distributor, encourage them to attend their first company event, and help them to earn their first commission check? All of those things together are going to help them to be able to say, oh, I can do this. I think I can do this, and get excited to get to the next level. Success in network marketing wasn't real for Eric Worre until he earned that first check. Yeah, when you do, it's so exciting. We were talking at the very beginning where Colleen had a really great interaction with her banker. And I said, you know, sometimes I've known people in the industry who choose not to have a direct deposit done, but rather keep the checks, because when they keep walking into the bank, whether it's once a week or once a month, they keep depositing these checks, and the banker sometimes will say, what is it that you do? You know, they're going to see that. So that's kind of a fun technique that I have heard, although I really do like my direct deposit. That's kind of fun too. Now, when it arrived, he said everything changed. He started to really dream about creating a better life for myself and my family. Helping your new person get off to a quick start is vital. So the game plan interview part 5, Michael always ended by giving some specific assignment, right? We like to be told what we need to do. New distributors crave direction, and they respond incredibly well to simple assignments. So that's often like that list of 100 people. So writing down every single person you know, that's one of those simple things where you're like, oh, look, I've accomplished this, right? You're creating that list and getting them in the right mode. So giving them assignments along with a deadline for them to be completed. And that goes along with the idea of we're going from one appointment to the next. Even in this process, you're still doing the next, you're still going to the next exposure, right? Get back to them by a specific date, just like the exposure prospecting process. Go from exposure to exposure, but it doesn't end when they become a distributor. Professionals continue to go from exposure to exposure, assignment to assignment. That's how we grow. Help the new distributor get over the line. And there is, when someone gets started, there's always a line between success and failure. On one side of the line, it's easier to quit than continue, whereas on the other side of the line, it's easier to continue than quit. So, what can help a person get over the line? Sign up their first customer, sign up their first distributor, get their first check, attend a big company event. I know, right? Hanny, was she's still here. Hanny, can you unmute for just a minute?
Let me see. Yes.
I got you. I got you, girlfriend. Okay. Could you do me a favor and share, because I know that when you and I met in Dallas, there, aside from a lot of other things that were going on in your life, there was kind of a point in your business where things kind of had kind of come to a halt, right? Things were kind of, because of the acquisition, right, into Youngevity. It was very different and very strange. But could you share what it was like for you to go to Dallas and how it changed your perspective?
Yes. It was really actually challenging after a while. The acquisition gave us a halt. For me personally, I really wanted to see the real thing. I wanted to see the bigger picture of what this is all about. Like, I've been to our convention for Nature's Pearl, but I told myself this is going to be the turning point. Honestly, I was deciding to whether go forward or just QUIT, and then I said, and I even brought another downline, my best friend Lucy. I brought her there and I said, let's see it for ourselves, and then let's really decide. Being in that big event, I have more belief in, not just for myself and for the company that's really embracing everything that I think my mission and my vision is all aligned in there, and seeing the people that I can trust and work with, and you, Pam, that I met there, it's like, oh my goodness, this is different. That really kind of made put the puzzles together and glued it for life. Now for me, it's a different ball game. It's really like life changing. Is that
That's
is that
perfect.
good?
Thank you. That was so beautiful. And you know, when I look at you now and I see what you've been able to accomplish, and watching you blossom from the time that we met and became friends in Dallas, and then we were together as a part of our team challenge, and we had a win there, albeit a second place win, but we still had a win. And seeing you achieving your
Mm-hmm.
graduation in 65 and a wake up, and also seeing how you have
Mm-hmm.
had this newfound love and success and desire and vision and mission, to use your words, to go globally. I mean, I am
Mm-hmm.
just so impressed, and I'm just so thankful, and I'm just glad to have you as a friend. So thank you so much for sharing that, sweetheart.
Thank you.
All right. So yes, so those big company events are a big deal, and they can be a regional event, or they can be a national event. They could be a local city event. They could be a weekly training, so anything like that. But we want to get people engaged, and we want to get them to see what the energy is of our family that we have here at Youngevity. And that is so important, because when they are immersed in that, they feel this love and connection that we have. And it's very unique, I'll tell you that much. Youngevity is a really special place to be. And I am so thankful that we have each other, to lift up. So making friends inside the organization. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I just made my registration for the Top Achievers Club for the trip in February, where we're going to Cancun. And, I'm reaching out to my friends in the Youngevity family. And it's funny because a lot of them are cross-line people. And I'm like, did you put your registration in yet? Did you do it? Did you do it? So we're all just so excited to be able to get together and have this fun, because, we work very hard, but we also play hard, and we have a good time. So it's nice to be able to choose the people that we spend time with. So that's part of how we build our team, but also building and forging those relationships, and supporting and loving each other, because there are sometimes, we talked at the beginning of the chapter, the down days, but we have a lot of really great up days too. So, and then proclaiming their intentions to the world. Now that they're a part of Youngevity, they're a distributor in the business, we need to help them to be able to share that with people, but we also need to temper that so they're not doing the vomiting on people's shoes kind of a thing. We want them to be in a place where they can get excited about listening to people, and understanding how to do this in a good way that's going to be most successful, before they start to run people off, because that can happen when people get overly excited, that they start to chase people around and people just want to go running for the hills. So helping them to temper that proclamation of the intentions to the world, and getting promoted to a new level. Nothing feels better than achieving a new rank, other than getting that check, right? We want to get the check, we want to get the rank, we want to see things happen and shift, and see the things moving and grooving. We want to know that there are positive shifts that are going on, and being recognized for achievements. Honestly, you know what? There sometimes the recognition is even better than the paycheck, depending upon the person. The paycheck is a very important thing, but feeling special, feeling like you're making a difference in the world, feeling like somebody else who's been there and done that is recognizing you. That's why the 65 and a wake up is so great, because we all who have graduated pay forward, and we're helping the other people to get through the ranks, because we remember it's really hard, and you need those people to lift up and support you, and getting those encouragements of getting to 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, 60 days, all the way up to have that bit of a shift, and then know that there was something special coming also at the end, like the tickets to Go Pro that we have all as graduates earned and are going to next week. So that's a very exciting thing to look forward to. And here's what you need to know, that your job is to help them get over that line and stay over the line. So you, as a leader, need to be constantly aware of where your people are emotionally, and you want to continue to encourage them to never let go of their dreams. So that's the end of the chapter for today. I want to open it up for questions, but remind you all, in case anyone has to head off, that we will not have our book club for the next 2 Thursdays, because next Thursday we will be at GoPro in Las Vegas, and the following Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. So we will reconvene the third Thursday. Whoop, whoop, yeah. We'll be in Vegas. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so I want to open this up to everyone who might have a, a question or a comment. Yep, we'll be doing a lot of that. So what's going on in your worlds? What do you need?
Hey, Pamela,
Yes, ma'am.
when you mentioned the brick rank, that was
Yes.
probably one of my favorite workshops at the convention,
Oh.
because it simplified it.
Okay.
And I don't mean it to be wrong, but sometimes we're looking so far beyond that it feels impossible.
Yes.
And I would love, if you talk to Tom, I would love for Tom and Denise to do that workshop and record it, and maybe even post it on that 65 and a Wake Up, so we can use that to show our prospects, or our new. I just think that simplifies it so much, because once we reach that brick rank, it just made sense. I don't know, it just made sense.
Yeah, I actually think
it was more visual.
Yeah, I'm going to mute you for a second. I actually think that there might be something at the Masters of Enrollment. I will have to go double check and look. But I know that he's done a lot of training on the brick rank, and it really is helpful. And I know that he learned that from one of the past events, and it may have been at GoPro last year. Tom, I don't know if you're able to come on and talk with us about that for a minute. But that was something that was asked by another person in the industry, and she had said to him, "What is your brick rank?" And he was kind of like, "What are you talking about? What does that mean?" And she said, "Well, that's got to be this rank that is achievable, but is going to help propel the business into greater levels of success." And so he kind of was talking with her about, well, is that sales associate? And she's like, no, that's not really enough. And he goes, well, is it 1 star? And she goes, yeah, that's a little too far. And so right in the middle is that senior associate. And so that's kind of where the idea of the brick rank started. And so I will double check, but I'll get back with you, Nancy, and find out if we have it. If we don't have it, I'm sure that that's something that we can figure something out, because I know that that is a very important part of teaching people that level of success. Does that help?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir, terrific. Thank you. All right, anybody else?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
I was just wondering, at GoPro next week,
Mm-hmm.
are we getting together? Is there going to be a group meeting? Is there a how, where, and what possible?
I believe so, but I don't have the information about what the plans are. I don't know what Tom and Denise's schedule is going to be, but he did make mention that we would be getting together. So that's part of the reason why I had created that the Facebook Messenger group, was so that we could connect on that level, for that to be able to connect together and have that information. So I think that's probably going to be the best resource. It's the simplest way for us to connect. And so we'll let you know as soon as we know.
Okay, where is that connection?
Oh, in Facebook Messenger.
Okay,
You're in that, aren't you, on it?
I think so.
I think so too. Yeah, I think you are. I believe that I added you in, but go into the Facebook Messenger, into the 65 and a Wake Up Graduates Messenger section, and you'll see it there. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ivan?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How
Hi,
are
I'm
you?
Nanuka Woods. I'm new to the group, but
Hi,
I just
Nanuka.
hi, and I was on another call. Sorry, I missed the beginning, but so you may have covered this. I apologize if you did, but I was just wondering, how long do you think that game plan interview should be? Was there, like, is there a time frame you feel like is too long, or like
You
keep
mean,
it short and simple? What do you think?
well, what you mean when you're getting
Like
together?
the game plan.
Yeah, he actually
Yeah.
said in the beginning that it was really quick. The getting started checklist. Wait, let me go back and see. He went through the same exact interview every time. He validated them, and he said that took less than 5 minutes. And then, so it's each part. It's kind of like, it depends. Each section is going to take a little bit different time. You want to congratulate them and go through that, and then plan the next step. So it's kind of like, you want to make sure that each time you're going to set a time. And it could be that you could go through this very quickly all at once, or it might be that you needed to schedule the next exposure, the next appointment with them. And that will depend upon you and upon the distributor. Does that help? Yeah, I think it always is. You kind of have to temper it with the person. The material would be the same, but how much someone is able to absorb, and it also depends upon the interview of what it is that they said that they were looking for. How quickly do they want to be earning, what levels, what level of commitment are they able to do, how much time can they commit. So it really kind of is individualistic based on them.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's important, I guess, to make sure you know how much they can kind of tolerate, how badly they want it, how fast do they want to run, right? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because if you push them too hard and they're not willing to do that, you're going to push them right away and then you'll lose them. But if there's somebody who's ready to hit the ground running, if you drag it out too far, then they're going to freak out and be like, I'm done. I need somebody who's actually going to lead me. So it does. And you can kind of feel it out as you go forward in the business. It comes with practice, and you will get to feel that. And it's like, again, as we talk about with prospects, you're letting them lead the dance, but you're guiding them across the dance floor, right? So they're kind of starting it out and getting it ready, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to take you in this direction. Does that help?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Great. Anybody else? We've got just a couple minutes left. I think we're good. All right, kiddos. Well, you have a very, very blessed couple of weeks. I'm sure that you will be hearing from us in Vegas. I'm so excited to get trained directly by Eric Worre and by Tom and Denise at GoPro. And, just keep it up. Keep doing those 2 coffee shop interviews and 1 3-way a day in 65 and a Wake Up. And if you need anything, reach out. We are always here to help you. So God bless. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you in 3 weeks. Bye, everybody. Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night. Love you guys.
Good night. Bye.
Oh, Nancy said maybe even post it on Vimeo or YouTube's. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.